How's it going? We left off talking about fire prevention. Now we will discuss some other hazards you need to be aware of. Let's start by reviewing the hazards that are the top 4 injury and fatality creation accidents. Falls are number 1 and accounts for 36% of all workplace injuries and fatalities. We have water on the shop floor when we have leaks. We have water or coffee spilled in the hallway. Struck by objects is number 2, accounting for 10% of accidents. Our biggest hazard is your feet getting struck. It is why we wear steel-toe shoes. So let's have a look. Number 3 is electrocution, which accounts for 9% of accidents. This category is our most severe contributor. We have special procedures and engineered solutions to protect you. Caught between accidents round out the top 4, and they account for 2%. This can happen here, such as pinching fingers between sections of machine. Do not perform tasks or use equipment that you have not received authorization for. Authorization can only come from supervision after completion of applicable training and or certification courses. You must be specifically trained and authorized to do the following: drive company vehicles, drive/operate forklifts, machine and power tools, paint sprayers, welders, cranes/hoist. Never wear loose clothing. Long hair should be tied up and back. Remove all jewelry. Never operate damaged or defective equipment. Immediately power down malfunctioning equipment. Follow all pre-established lockout-tagout procedures. Do not remove, alter, or bypass safety guards and devices. Replace guards before using equipment after adjusting. Never attempt to stop a workpiece going through a machine. If the machine becomes jammed, disconnect the power before clearing the jam. Read and obey all safety warnings/labels on or near any piece of equipment/machine/tool. Hearing protection must be worn on the shop floor whenever active work is being conducted. A noise survey will be conducted every 2 years or within 60 days of a noise-altering process. Hexavalent chromium is a known carcinogenic that targets the respiratory system and other vital organs of the human body. Hexavalent chromium exposure can occur as a result of hot work with stainless steel. Permissible exposure limit, PEL. No worker can be exposed to airborne concentration of chromium VI in excess of 5 micrograms per cubic meter of air, 5 mg/m3, calculated as an 8-hour time-weighted average QA. As of the company's last testing of this hazard, there was no amounts found above the maximum allowable level. We monitor this frequently as we do our best to always have our teams back. The Jenfab respiratory protection program consists of hazard determination, proper selection and use of respiratory protection equipment, medical evaluations, fit testing, employee training, and proper care of respiratory equipment. Jenfab will select and use respiratory protection based on employees' exposure to respiratory hazards. Industrial hygiene monitoring may be warranted to identify baseline exposures where engineering controls may not completely prevent respiratory hazards. Only authorized employees may perform operations requiring respiratory protection. A Jenfab respiratory protection training course is required before an employee can be authorized. Blood and other bodily fluids can carry pathogens which can cause diseases in others. Precautions must be taken to prevent infection if bodily fluids are released. Stay away from bodily fluids if you are not trained and authorized to clean/disinfect. Only first aid/CPR/AED certified employees may assist/clean up bodily fluids. Always use the bloodborne pathogen PPE kits when encountering the bodily fluids of another. All body fluids should be disposed of in the appropriate disposal containers in our bathrooms. Take precautions to avoid exposure or exposing others to pathogens and viruses. If you are sick or have been in close contact with someone who is sick, stay home. Cover coughs and properly dispose of all tissues/materials containing bodily fluids. If you have an allergy to something specific, notify supervision, safety, or members of your team. Voluntary. If you carry an EpiPen to prevent anaphylaxis, make sure someone you work with knows where you store it. Voluntary. There are several things to be aware of to stay safe in material handling. Keep flammable materials segregated. Stack heavy materials on the bottom of shelving. No stored items should be protruding into the walkway. Any materials stored over 5 or shoulder height requires falling on protection retention system/PPE. Lift with legs, not back. Avoid hyperextension. No individual can lift more than 50 pounds max. You must use a dolly forklift or have a 2-person lift for moving over 50 pounds. Avoid twisting when stocking and removing parts from shelving. Visually inspect for sharp object before placing hand in a container. Remove and slash or bend nails and staples before unpacking crates. Always cut away from body when using box cutters. Always secure items when transporting. Always wear gloves when handling materials. Fall protection is required when working in the mezzanine. The yellow rail system and toe boards installed on the edge is the fall protection system. If work is being conducted where a section of rail or chain has been removed, individual fall protection is required. Do no store or pile materials close to the entry to the stairs. Always use 3 points of contact when walking up and down stairs, 2 feet 1 hand on rail. Never navigate stairs while on the phone or distracted. Materials are not to be stored next to and above the rail where they could fall off the mezzanine. Keep mezzanine free of dirt and slip, trip, and fall hazards. Never work in the mezzanine alone and out of sight. Cylinders must not be filled except by the supplier. 2. The practices of transferring compressed gases from large to small cylinders by anyone other than the manufacturer or distributor is prohibited. 3. If a cylinder leak cannot be remedied, close the valve and attach a tag stating that the cylinder is unserviceable. Remove the leaking cylinder a safe, well-ventilated outdoor location. If the gas is toxic or flammable, leave the area immediately and notify management and the gas supplier. 4. Do not deface or remove any markings, labels, decals, tags, or stencil marks attached by the supplier for the purpose of identification. Do not repaint cylinders. 5. Before moving empty cylinders, close the valve and replace the valve protection caps. 6. Cylinders containing compressed gases should not be subject to temperatures over 125 degrees Fahrenheit. A flame or high heat must never be permitted to contact a compressed gas cylinder. 7. Never tamper with safety relief devices in valves or cylinders. Never attempt to repair or alter cylinders, valves, or safety relief devices. 8. Do not place cylinders where they might become part of an electric circuit. 9. When in doubt about the proper handling of a compressed gas cylinder, consult the manufacturer or supplier. Transportation. 1. Valve protection caps shall be in place anytime a cylinder is moved. 2. Do not lift a compressed gas cylinder by the cap or valve. 3. Never drop cylinders or permit them to strike violently against each other or other surfaces. 4. Avoid dragging or sliding cylinders. Designated storage areas should be protected from traffic and prominently posted with the same type of gases. 2. No smoking signs shall be posted where appropriate. 3. Where gases of different types are stored in the same area, cylinders must be grouped by the like types. Cylinders containing oxidizing gases, oxygen, etc. shall be separated from fuel gas cylinders, acetylene, etc. by a distance of at least 20 feet or by a non-combustible barrier at least 5 feet high having a fire resistance rating of at least 1/2 hour. 4. Full and empty cylinders of each type of gas shall be stored separately and secured in place. 5. Do not store cylinders near highly flammable substances such as oil, gasoline, or solvents.